Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Robbe with Believe in the Run.
Robbe, we are holding the Mount to Coast H1.
Mount to Coast has this thing where they do, I'm assuming there's going to be twos at some point, but they do the letter and then the number, and the letter stands for something. In this case,
Hybrid. Yeah, which is, it's kind of nice though, because there's not these long names that we have to.
I'm a fan, I gotta say.
Like it's not the CircleCell
right.
hybrid.
Although,
once
they start going further down into each category, we'll probably get all kinds of, I don't know.
Here's the fingers crossed that it doesn't.
Yeah. So anyways, so the H1, this is their hybrid shoe, as we said, or you could call it road to trail shoe, or door to forest, or
door to forest.
Gravel.
I don't think I've heard door to forest before.
One. It's like D to F. Carl knows what I'm talking about. Yeah.
D to F? Okay.
Yeah. It's coming to the running community. It's already there in some circles.
I did want to do a little bit of a disclaimer. I just got back from China where I got to go meet with the Mount to Coast team and see how this shoe is made top to bottom. Went to the foam factory, went to the assembly factory where they make the uppers and put everything together. Spent a lot of time with them, and we're actually working on a project that's a collab between Mount to Coast and Believe in the Run. However, the reason we decided to do that was because how much I like this shoe already, so that's why I agreed to go out there and work with them on this project. So with that said, let's get into it.
So let's start with the upper on this shoe. It's an interesting dual zone upper insofar as the construction of this.
I mean, this whole shoe is hybrid. You got dual everything.
It really is. So
dual lacing.
That's probably the first thing people will notice is that it has a dual zonal lacing system, which we've seen in other models that they have, the T1 and the R1 specifically. So you have this front section that has a toggle, which the only problem I have with this sometimes is that it's a little long. It doesn't have a really tuck point for it. You can just tuck it under the front.
That's what I do.
But then the top section is your typical lacing system.
So the only issue I have with it is because you have this lower area here, you kind of have to play with it to get the right fit. It's actually designed so that if you were running ultras or something like that and you need to expand that front as your foot expands, you have that ability to control just this lower half while keeping a nice lockdown with the upper laces. But what I find is when I tighten up the upper laces, Robbe, and I'm trying to get my shoe on later, I kind of have to loosen this all back up to get the shoe in there. It's a minor thing, but overall, what do you think of the dual lacing system?
I don't really care either way. I'm not sure how necessary it really is. Maybe, like you said, for those people running ultras, which I have not done this shoe, that matters. And keep in mind, when Mount to Coast first started, that was like their whole thing is shoes meant for road ultras, which that's not really their angle at this point.
It's transcend distance.
Yeah.
So whatever distance you want to go, their shoes are built for it. And we look at stuff like this exact shoe model, Jamil Curry used to do the Burrito Challenge, 800 miles in this shoe alone.
So maybe he's the person to ask, does the zonal lacing system matter? The upper construction is also dual construction. So you have the jacquard mesh upper portion around the tongue and the vamp and the midfoot. Then you also have, closest to the midsole, you have a Kevlar with aramid fibers. Kevlar, of course, is what's used in bulletproof vests. It's pretty indestructible.
Stronger than steel.
Yeah, stronger than steel. Kind of like us.
Yeah,
I feel like
we're really tough.
In some things.
So
not most things.
I really like the feel of the way that they pad the collar and the tongue. It's very comfortable. The mesh is open. It's very breathable. Like, I ended up going down a half size though, Robbe, because I felt like it was too voluminous. I had a little too much room up in the toe and above. I really feel like going down a half size really nailed the fit for me. How did you feel about the fit in your size?
Maybe I should have gone down a half size. The thing is, I didn't feel like it was too long in the toe, but I didn't love the fit of this shoe. In fact, I felt it was similar to the T1. I just felt like there was a little bit of too much room in the forefoot and I couldn't get the best lockdown. It wasn't terrible in that I didn't feel any hot spots or blisters or anything, but I just felt like after 10 miles in the shoe. It's starting to loosen up, and maybe I should have cinched down more on the front. I don't know, but I just felt it was a little roomy for my liking.
I did more miles in this version than I did in this one. This is the 10.5. This is the 10. But I found that while I had extra room in the toe box here and lengthwise here, this one again fit just right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so maybe you go down a half size if you want that more snug fit. And I think the durability is pretty excellent with this. You're really not gonna have any issues blowing it out on the sides. Of course, you have this reinforced toe cap. So durability concerns, I don't think there's any concern there.
No.
And now let's move on to the midsole. So
this is the magic.
Yeah, this is kind of what everyone's talking about, or especially what Mount Dacosta is talking about. It's their new CircleCell technology.
Robbie, I almost hate to talk about sustainability and recycle stuff, which we're about to get into, because it usually means you're giving up some performance. It's like, okay, the shoe is sustainable, but not quite as great to run in.
Right.
Like we've tested shoes from Allbirds, from Beja, from Hilo, all of them, and you do feel like you're giving something up with their foams.
Even Asics bio-based, I feel like is not as good as their regular ones. They worked with BASF. Do you say that as an acronym? Or is
I think it's BASF.
Okay, yeah. The German chemical company, which is kind of ironic, but they're focused on more sustainable solutions. So they did this midsole that's made from 100% compostable feedstock, which...
The only time I ever heard of feedstock was like, I thought that was for horses and goats and stuff like that.
It is pretty much organic waste.
So are we taking away from livestock that we now have, we're taking their food and putting it into a shoe?
Yeah, we might be paying more for beef and horse on the menu, depending where you are. I'm interested to know, like I just want to know how it's made. Maybe that's something we need to look into for the future. Like I just don't understand the process of it.
Yeah.
And so their promise of it is that it has the same energy return as PIBA, but twice the durability.
And so far I have to agree, from day one to like putting 60 miles on this shoe, I mean, these two feel pretty similar. Yeah. And I know, in talking to Lynn, who's been running in it he's got a pair that's got like 600 miles, and he still seems to feel like it feels great underfoot. So the durability is there, but even if it wasn't durable, I mean, you could have a durable piece of crap, but this actually feels really good and it has a nice energy return.
I was trying to figure out what it reminded me of, and to me, it reminded me of like a bouncier version of the like Adidas, like kind of like the Light Strike Pro that's used
in the Evo SL.
Yeah, maybe not quite as unstable in that way, but the energy return felt similar.
Yeah, the cushioning dynamic feel to me reminded me of the Evo SL, which got me really excited about the shoe. Off the bat, I was like, okay, this shoe feels great, but then we got to start talking about what it's designed for and if it hits the mark on that.
I think I have 40 miles in my pair. I did actually 2 long runs of 17 miles in the shoe. And I should mention, this is a hybrid shoe, road to trail or whatever. I actually ran all my miles on the road in this shoe.
Yeah.
So, and you ran like a combination.
Yeah, so in this pair, you can kind of see the dirt on it, and you can see some of the dirt on the bottom of the shoe. I took it out for both road and trail, and as a matter of fact, on the first pair, I probably did more trail miles than I did on the second pair. And Robbie, I was surprised, even with 2.5 millimeter lugs, and this is their proprietary rubber.
Yeah, it's Versagrip, which is very grippy, by the way. I was all surprised by it.
Yeah, went out and I went to one of our favorite trails, Little Gunpowder, and it's got pretty much everything. It's got streams, mud, rocks, you name a terrain, it pretty much has it. And I was like a little nervous because this doesn't really, 2.5 millimeters doesn't really sound like a lot of traction. And unless I was in some like really muddy areas, I felt pretty secure in the shoe. I will say though, if you were going strictly for trail, I'd probably go to the T1 with the Vibram outsole with I think it has like 4 millimeter lugs or something like that. So you're really gonna have that stronger grip. But For what this is designed for, I was really impressed with how it felt on the trails.
I mean, and likewise on the road, I felt like it was basically a road shoe. I didn't feel like I was running in a trail shoe at any point. So in many ways, I feel like it's really a road shoe just with a nice sticky, grippy outsole and a little bit of lug depth.
If you just told me this was a road shoe and I didn't think about it, I would be like, okay, there's no compromise here. It feels great on the roads.
Yeah, because by the way, the weight on it, you want to give that?
Yeah,
real quick?
so a size 10 is 8.8 ounces or 250 grams.
I mean, that's light. Like, that's real light.
Yeah, US, and we didn't even go over the drop. We can give the drop. It's a 35-29 for a 6 millimeter drop. It's really a sweet spot, especially on the trails. It looks higher than that, but you're not like in that ankle twisting zone.
I was really surprised. You know, you do a long run, you're a little bit, sometimes your legs are a little bit beat up the next day. I felt great the next day, no issues there. And I like that it feels, the midsole has that energy return, but it's not soft. You feel the ground, you feel that nice ground feel to it without any harshness, which is one of my favorite feels for a midsole. And you also, it's because of this wide, you can see how this pretty wide platform, it's pretty stable as well.
Yeah, and it's rockered, so it's really smooth through the stride. Overall, like when I first got this shoe, I was kind of blown away. I like the R1, the T1, I think is a really nice trail shoe. There's some stuff that I'd probably tweak on that a little bit, but when we got this one, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Mount Tacosa's here.
I think this is going to be a sneaky good shoe for a lot of people.
What's the price?
Yeah, so it's $160, which is pretty right in there for
pretty
this,
reasonable for a shoe that you can. This is one of those shoes where I think it's one shoe does the trick.
Honestly, it's light enough that you could wear this for even racing type scenarios, especially on the trails, or even up tempo workouts. You can, like, I picked it up in this shoe and it felt pretty seamless.
Well, we're seeing some people also do some pretty crazy races in this shoe and doing pretty well. Again, they're leaning towards those ultra distances.
Yeah, I saw someone who finished top 10 at Cocodona did the whole thing, which is 250 miles, did the whole thing in this one pair of these shoes. So it's, obviously it's good for pretty much anything.
Another interesting thing they're doing with this shoe is they really love our national parks. And so they're coming out with color packs that are going to be kind of matching different national parks. This one's White Sands. You can guess where that is?
Gonna guess White Sands.
Yeah.
Is White Sands New Mexico?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, nailed it. He just got a point on the bingo board. All right.
Joshua Tree will just be all tan. All right, so form, I'm gonna give this a 4. I felt like it's a pretty solid design and the weight hits right. I like the construction throughout, so I'm gonna give it a 4.
All right. I would also give it a 4. I do think there's a couple things that we could do to make it a little better and clean up some of the fit, but other than that, it's pretty nailed. I think you're going to be happy with it.
Yeah, so moving on to fit, I would give this 3. Like I said, I didn't love the fit on the upper, but I feel like maybe going a half size down would solve that problem. So maybe I'll get in a pair of half size down, see how that works out.
All right. So I'm going to give it a 3. Same sort of reason. I had to go a half size down to get the fit that I really like. With that half size down, I am feeling a little bit of the bumper towards the top here. So it is a little bit of a trade-off. I think, this one doesn't have as many miles in it, so I think that will kind of adjust to my foot as I keep going. If this was labeled a 10.5, I would probably be giving the fit a 4. And the reason for that is adjusting some of the toe box area, I think,
Yeah. And I should mention, I also have a very narrow foot, so if you have a larger volume foot or even a wide foot, this might actually be perfectly fine for you. All right, so function, I'm going 5 with this. I feel like for what it is, gravel shoe, that's exactly what you want in a gravel shoe, a road to trail shoe. This hits all the right notes. It has the durable Kevlar here. It has this bouncy midsole, but not unstable. And then it has a really nice grippy outsole with just no traction.
I have to go with Robbe again. So this is going to be same scores down the line. I'm giving it a 5, mostly because I love the shoe on the road. and I love it on the trails. It really is the first time that I've had a shoe that I don't feel is a compromise on either one. Now, with that, I will say, like, yeah, if I was going for a straight up trail race and wanted that aggressive feel, I would go with the T1. But other than that, this one really sings on both surfaces.
So that's a 12 out of 15 for both of us. It's a green light. Carl fired up. Got that green rolling through here, feeling like spring is on the way, even though it's not.
Anyway, go ahead, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Robbie, where else can they find us?
You can find us on our podcast, The Drop, or Fuel for the Soul, and obviously our website, which has all our reviews and more in depth. And we get Taylor, our lead trail reviewer of the dirt division. He reviews the shoe as well, so he'll give his perspective for the trails. And yeah, and sign up for our email list where you get all the reviews in one place each week, just one email. And I'll write a little note to you at the end.
Little note from
my
Robbie.
heart. From my heart.
You never know what it's going to be. It's just kind of like random.
Yep. It's whatever's in here.
It's like Friday, oh crap, I got to do an email. That's what you get.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.